Hello, my name is Pedro Escobedo, and a couple days ago I released a new hypothesis called the Direction of Life Hypothesis, Escobedo 2025. And I'm making this video to explain what my hypothesis consists of and how it solves some paradoxes and pretty much explains the meaning of life and the purpose of many things. So, I want to start by saying that this hypothesis pretty much suggests that life is a product of entropy. Entropy is known to be disorder, but what my hypothesis suggests is that it's not disorder. It's it's purposeful, it's meaningful. And the paradox that it's solving is Hawking radiation. So for decades, it has been believed that Hawking radiation is just meaningless thermal radiation. But my hypothesis suggests that no, it is meaningful. What this thermal radiation is, or Hawking radiation is entropy. But the thing is, it is life on its most purest form. And I will explain why. My hypothesis is called the direction of life because life has an encoding. Life has a directional encoding and is directed through space time. So life pretty much has a pointer, a direction. And this pointer, this direction, is assigned through gravity. So pretty much gravity gives the direction of life. And the reason why this hypothesis solves the Hawking radiation paradox is because, like I said, it suggests that it is entropy, but entropy is life on its most purest form from another universe. So think of it like a mirror. So a black hole acts as a transformer if we go into computer science terminology. And the universe, the whole cosmos, is pretty much a machine learning algorithm. It is learning through testing and validating data in each universe. So, like I mentioned, life has an encoding, a directional encoding that is shaped through gravity. So, life is linear, it follows a path. And when Hawking radiation, it's emitting, entropy, life, and life starts to gain shape, starts to form galaxies, uh, and massive bodies and organisms, then gravity, it starts to make, this pull to, you know, make life feasible, being able to form life in different planets and different systems, and that's how life uh, originates through entropy, and through gravity. So, like I said, this also explains the meaning of life and solves paradoxes because, like I said, everything is meaningful, everything is purposeful. And going back to the concept of machine learning, so pretty much the source, or God in this case, creates each universe for the purpose of learning, for the purpose of optimization. So, like I said, gravity shapes life, gives it a direction, and the purpose is to essentially go back to the source, go back to a black hole. So a black hole, think of it like as a transformer, as a window to other universes and to God. So when when energy goes back to the source, it comes with information that it gathered on this universe. So that's why everything that goes to a black hole, nothing can escape it, not even light. And it goes back to the black hole, and then it starts as a training process. And the Hawking radiation paradox is that if nothing can escape a black hole, how is it possible that it emits radiation? And the reason why Hawking radiation exists is because it is it is life, it is energy, it is entropy in its most purest form. So it is not encoded to follow that direction of a black hole. Is not encoded to follow the path of gravity. This directional encoding. It starts to take shape in this universe. So this also follows a theory of the Big Bang. So pretty much every black hole is a nucleus of a universe, is a nucleus of a Big Bang. All the information that Hawking radiation emits is raw data. Then it starts to gain structure with gravity because it is unstructured data. And once it starts forming organisms like us and pretty much everything and anything, it serves as a learning process. So this also follows the theory of evolution. So in evolutionary and biological terms, the purpose of us humans and other organisms is reproduction. Because entropy, once it starts to gain structure, once it starts getting form, then what it wants to do is replicate. It wants to replicate this encoding that it formed to, to gather more data, to gain more knowledge. How is it doing that? By optimizing itself. That's why evolution, it's optimization. So it starts to optimize in different environments, in different scenarios, for the purpose of reproduction, so it can gather more knowledge, more data. And this is why us humans, we're never satisfied. We're never fully um, satisfied with anything and everything. It doesn't matter if we fulfill some goals, if we get a house, we always want a bigger house, we always want a better car, the newest stuff. We always want more and more and more because, in a sense, it is information gathering. And we want to know what it feels to acquire these things that we think we want, that we desire. It also serves a purpose of information gathering that we want to serve to send back to the source. So pretty much, life encoding has a cycle. That's why death exists, because once the predetermined cycle completes, let's say a life of an organism, in this case a human, then what happens is that we release entropy back to the universe. We release or raw or entropy or energy with training back to the universe that follows the same path of directional life, which is going to follow and go back to the source, go back to the universe, where it's going to train and learn based on the knowledge that you as an individual and the collective knowledge acquired. Um, so in a way, I didn't meant to do this, but also in a way, this this proves many concepts of religion. One of them is heaven and hell. Heaven and hell. So once an organism is predetermined to gain knowledge, data, um, it wants to follow its path back to the source, back to the to God, to share this knowledge, this data. And how does it do that? So pretty much, like I said, everything and anything is energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed; it only transforms. So what happens? Think of it of like karma. This is also why being a good human, being someone with morals and that takes good actions do matter, because think of it like karma. Whenever you have good karma, make good actions, and do something positive that you know is positive because you know it. You can even feel it that it's positive. When you do that, you continue that alignment of the path of life, the path of your encoding. So whenever you pass, whenever you die, you transcend. You continue this path, this encoding back to the source, back to God. But if you have bad karma, what happens is that you mess with your programming, mess with your encoding, which leads to endless confusion, endless um, unknown territory. Like you're not gonna go back to the source because your karma mess distorted your life encoding, your directional life encoding. So you won't be able to make it back to the source, which leads to an an eternity of I don't want to say hell, but it's the same concept, right? That you will be forever lost for eternity because you won't be able to make it back to the source. You won't be able to go to heaven in this case. Like I said, I didn't mean to even prove this or relate this to my equation that I developed, which is my life equation. But it also applies to it. It makes sense to it. It aligns with the narrative, and it explains the meaning of life. Like I said, that the meaning of life is to gather information, is to learn, and this is why we experience emotions. This is why life is precious. Life is beautiful because we're here to learn. We're here to experience it all. We're here to share this knowledge, and we're here to, as a collective consciousness, because the cosmos is a collective consciousness. It's a collection of God. We're here to keep improving the system, keep improving this this shared knowledge. And like I said, whenever entropy goes back to the black hole, goes back to the source, it acts as a mirror, which creates an endless and infinite number of universes. This connects with string theory in the sense that whenever entropy goes back to the source, gravity, a strong gravitational force, shifts the direction of light. It gives it a different direction, which is a different universe. So think of it like now it has a different angle. So this is the concept of the mirror life that takes a different direction. And like I said, it's an endless number of strings, endless number of universes in the cosmos, and some of them do collide with each other. So they intersect each other, and what happens is also it takes a different angle, or it can annihilate one of the universes. In a way, nothing gets destroyed; it only transforms. So whenever there's an intersection, what happens is that it's just more knowledge from both universes to take a different direction. So in a way, one of the universes gets destroyed because it changes completely its its environment, pretty much. But I'm saying it gets annihilated, but it's actually just a massive change because nothing gets destroyed ever. And like I said, this solves the paradox of Hawking radiation, black holes, why they exist, what is the purpose of them, how life originates, how and why we're here, what is the purpose of everything. In a way, I didn't mean to do this, but I proved the existence of God, the existence of a source, of a bigger consciousness, because we're all part of this constant improving optimization. And in also it proves the theory of the matrix, the hypothesis of the matrix, because the cosmos, it's a collection of matrices. So it's a collection of uh, vector encoding. So every universe, it's a different vector encoding, and um, it's an endless, pretty much table, an endless collection of universes of different angles and vector encodings. So what I try to convey and try to say with this video is that actions do matter, and being a good person, being a good human, does matter, because that is your purpose, and that is why we're here. We're here to keep improving our collective consciousness, and everything goes back to God. Everything goes back to the source. Your actions go back to God if you take good actions. So be a good person, be a good human, and God is real.